All right, so look, we got two triggers here. Obviously, one is OEM and one is a clone that, you know, they're doing a better and better job here with each of these things as time goes on here. But again, and I'm going to say this right now up front, if you buy Glock OEM stuff on eBay, you're getting defrauded. I guess I should say that there probably are a handful, and I mean a slight handful, that are not, okay? But the majority by far are. With that, I'm also going to say this. There's a difference to me between somebody who decides to put knockoff parts in their Glock, you know, like, you shouldn't do that, but if you do, okay, you made that decision. But what I'm specifically talking about here are vendors and sellers telling you that you're buying genuine OEM products, right? Like you're paying that premium price for that premium product, and they're sending you a knockoff clone. Okay, that is defrauding our community in the largest possible way. And not only is that a disgusting practice that is rampant, but the reality is those parts are completely unsafe, as I'm going to show you today. Okay, but anyway, so we have two things. They look identical, right? And typically, well, the average novice would say, okay, I can tell it's a Glock 19 trigger, and it would be authentic by the ribbed face or grooved faced shoe on the 19. The reality is you can't do that anymore. From the front, they look pretty close, okay? But there are some distinct differences. Number one, the Glock, this is the actual Glock OEM. You're gonna see that it has notches back here, right? Underneath its bird beak. Here's the bird beak, right? And then you got some notches, two little notches. See if we can maybe bring this up a little bit, but you have two very slight notches right there that play a very important role, okay? But if you look at the fake one, it's smooth, right? There's no notches there at all. The bird beak is kind of warped, right? People keep wondering why they have so many reset trigger issues. But I'm using Glock OEM. No. You thought you bought Glock OEM, but you're not using Glock OEM. You were defrauded. All right, so the fake one's not going to have any notches here along the bottom of the bird's beak. On the actual bottom of the trigger part itself, you can see on the Glock OEM here, you have two notches again, one there and one here, very distinct. And here, they're not really notches. They're kind of, there's two little indentation points back to back, and they're very close together, not serving any purpose there other than they were probably trying to clone this as close as possible. You can see across the top of a Glock OEM, you have very distinct notches again. One here, like you can run your fingernail through it, one right there, and then one right here, right? Two very, you know, again, distinct. You can feel the notches with your fingernail right there. On the fake, it's got this hump action going on here, right? And it's very close together. It's tied in with the two notches on the bottom, all in the wrong place, but it's more of a raised portion than just a notch that we see on the Glock. Okay. The center punch on the sear, you know, the Glock one is going to be very prevalent as a very, let me see, bring this up here. You're going to see that this is very prevalent right in the sear, and this one is just like a little punch, right? Not really there. The bad part is the sear. You can see on the Glock, it is very distinct, again, where this comes up to get your 2/3 contact. And here, again, why we see so many unsafe things is these are like straight. They're not even bent really on the correct angle to engage with your firing pin and give you that 2/3 coverage, rendering this completely unsafe. But that's not the only unsafe reason. Let's move over to the shoe itself. The shoe on a Glock is going to be one solid piece. Okay, these fake ones are two pieces. You can see that there is a seam that runs through the entire shoe. Now, that's important for a reason. On the Glock is a one-piece shoe, and it does have the seam right in the middle of the rib right here where the safety is. Now, I want you to look at the safety. This is a Glock OEM. Look at how tight that safety is, right? Look how tight, look how tight. I can't move it up too much, and it's very tight, right? How important is that safety? Life or death, right? That's how important it is. Life or death, that safety. Let's look at this on a clone. Whew, look, I can actually see space. I can lift this up to see space. It's very loose, loosey-goosey. This isn't stopping anything. No tightness whatsoever. Terrible. The safety itself in there has this little, they tried to copy the Glock marking right there. Oh, look at that. Look at that spacing. Oh my God. It's actually not funny. And as you can tell, I'm fired up because, again, you know, in the moment of truth, you need your firearm to work. And the reality is that I wouldn't depend my life on this for anything. Never mind the fact that you could drop it and people could get very seriously hurt, because this in your Glock is not going to be drop safe. But anyway, so you can see that they tried to duplicate some of that on the Glock OEM. You can see it's got two, you know, which keeps it really tight inside that shoe like that. You can also see that the Glock, where they actually have it in there with the pin system, it is flush and flat and good. And this is like somebody just didn't even give a fuck, right? I mean, didn't even care. There's just nothing there, which is why this is all loose and shitty and unsafe. So look, it's the entire kit. It's everything, my friends. It's mag buttons, springs, firing pins, right? I mean, how many firing pins we see broken. And I'm going to go over, I think we just need to make a whole series here on all of the different parts. But this is a major component, obviously, right? I mean, having the right trigger bar for safety purposes is important. Along the back, you can see, now you can really see how clear of a difference it is, right? This is Glock OEM. You've got your punch out here all along the back of the trigger bar. And then this is, I don't know, some Taiwan fucking, you know, copycat stuff that's going on. But again, I'm going to do videos on all of them. I think the firing pin safety is another huge one, because again, all these parts are interacting. So if they're all garbage parts interacting, it makes it even worse. But again, rampant, my friends, rampant. This is stuff. This is just eBay. Just eBay. All of these triggers are fake. Every one of them.